You're watching Building the Franchise with the New England Patriots, only on the MBL Network.
What's going on, guys? Welcome back for episode number 12 of Building the Franchise with the New England Patriots. And on this episode, we're going to go from the beginning of the preseason all the way through week 10 of the regular season for MBL season number 22.
Features two quarterbacks who will be trying to lead their team to victory. It's Romo's Patriots going up against Wilson's Seahawks.
Here in the first preseason matchup, we take on the Seattle Seahawks, and in this game, there's going to be a couple position battles we're going to watch out for, a couple players we're going to keep an eye on and see who wins those positions. And that's going to be throughout the preseason. It's not just this first game, but the first one is going to be halfback. You know, we got rid of LeGarrette Blount and Adrian Peterson during the offseason, so now we have to figure out if we want to run with DeAndre Collins, DeMarcus McKnight, or Alex Collins. Alex Collins was with us last year. McKnight was a pickup from the Bucks. He was a Bucks practice squad player last year. We signed him in free agency for a long-term deal. And DeAndre Collins, he is a second-year guy out of Vanderbilt who's had no playing time in the NBL. And Alex Collins, he played for us last year. He backed up Blount and AP, and he ended up earning the starting role at the end of last season. So we're definitely going to be looking at all three of these guys throughout the preseason. We also have the position battle of right end, where the rookie Clark and Bullard, who we traded for last season, are going to be trying to win that starting position. Right now it's Bullard's, but Clark has came into camp and really shown that he wants to take the position over. So that's another position we're going to be watching out for as well. But the Seahawks do hold on to win this first game, 17-14 against us in week 1 of the preseason. Here in the second week of the preseason, we take on the San Francisco 49ers, who are coming off of an excellent draft during the offseason.
Two quarterbacks will be on the field today trying to push their team to victory. It's the 49ers going up against the Patriots.
After a terrible week 1 offensive rushing attack against the Seattle Seahawks, where Alex Collins only had 8 yards on 9 attempts and McKnight had -2 yards on 3 attempts, we definitely came in wanting to focus a little bit more on the run this game. We didn't want to go full run heavy and only run the ball, but we definitely wanted to focus on it and try to get the offensive line to work a little better with our rushing attack and try to get some kind of push on the line. And Collins came into this game. He rushed the ball 7 times for 17 yards, with McKnight rushing 3 times for 24 yards. So McKnight has the edge so far on him, and he does seem to be just a little bit more explosive and able to make some moves that Alex Collins just can't seem to do. Clark and Bullard seem to be having pretty much the same success on whenever each of them are on the field. Clark had a tackle in the last game. Bullard had a tackle in the last game. Clark had no tackles in this game. Bullard had no tackles in this game. So that's definitely a position that, from the looks of it, we're struggling, and we definitely need to pay attention to the simple things and find out what they're doing wrong and figure out if we can get a little bit more pressure off their side. Sheard seems to be holding up his end of the bargain on his side of the field. It's just the other side of the field with Clark or Bullard in there. Neither of them seem to be getting any kind of pressure on the quarterback, and they're not stopping the run game. So basically at this point of the preseason, they're pretty much useless. They're not getting anything done while Sheard's holding up his whole side of the field over there. That's definitely something that's going to need to be worked on before the regular season starts. The 49ers do end up beating us 24-21 here in week 2 of the preseason. In the last 2 weeks of the preseason, we suffered a 13-23 loss against Houston, and we won 31-15 against the Ravens. Alex Collins had 23 attempts for 155 yards throughout those 2 games, and McKnight had 5 attempts for 5 yards, which gave Collins the starting position for week 1 against the Ravens. We did have back-to-back games against the Ravens at the end of the preseason and the beginning of the regular season. So both these teams now know each other pretty well. They know each other's backups and our starters. So it's going to be an interesting game for sure.
The NFL is an exciting time for everybody, including these 2 teams here today. It's the Ravens going up against the Patriots.
With the addition of Tom Brady onto the coaching staff, being the quarterback coach, and the bringing in of Tony Romo during the offseason, one of the biggest things that Brady has told Doring and Romo throughout the entire training process is be smart with the football. Don't turn the football over. Throw the short route if you have to throw the short route, but don't force the ball down the field into double or triple coverage. Don't try to force it into a guy that's not open. Just make the smartest decision possible. And Romo came into this game, wasn't really able to do that. He threw 3 interceptions in the game, and ultimately that was the turning point. Other than that, he had a pretty good game. He only threw 8 incompletions, and 3 of which were interceptions. So if he would have minimized the interceptions, we might have had a little better shot, but we do end up losing to the Ravens 16-10 in week 1. After a 3-29 loss against the New York Giants in Week 2, the Pittsburgh Steelers come to Gillette Stadium to take us on in Week 3.
There's going to be a pair of wide receivers looking to make big plays on the field. It's Brown Steelers going up against Edelman's Patriots.
So leading up to this game, there were a couple different interesting storylines that we were tracking here. The Patriots head coach, Hedrick, went to social media and guaranteed a victory against the defending AFC champions. And Alex Collins was demoted to second string. DeMarcus McKnight was brought up as the starting running back. Collins had a rough couple first weeks, and McKnight wasn't great whenever he came in as the relief for Collins, but he was a little better and a little more explosive. So Hedrick decided to give him the start against the Steelers. The second of those statements by Hedrick it seemed to have paid off. McKnight had a big game compared to what Collins had been producing for the Patriots, but the first statement that he made, guaranteeing a victory against the defending AFC champions for the last 3 years, really not a smart decision, and the Steelers do end up winning the game 34-22, bringing us to 0-3 so far on the season as we head into our Week 4 bye week. In Week 5, following our bye week, we take on the Washington Redskins. It's an away game. It's going to be a tough game against a team that's been in the playoffs the last couple seasons, a team that's consistently been hard to beat and really has only been held down by the Cowboys over in the NFC East. After such a slow start to the season, we're definitely going to be looking to rebound in this game against this tough Redskins team.
A team that can get it done on the ground. The Redskins are top 10 in rushing TDs, and they'll go up against a packed defense that needs to be ready for it.
Without trying to sound like I'm repeating myself during each and every game, the biggest thing is Tony Romo has to make smart decisions. He's thrown 10 interceptions in the first 3 games, and he comes in against the Redskins and throws 4 more and only 1 touchdown. He's really not making the best decisions, and he's definitely not making good decisions for a quarterback that's been in the league as long as he has. Been in winning situations, been in losing situations, should know how to take care of the football regardless of what the situation is, and he's not executing that. And that's something that the quarterback coach Tom Brady is really not happy with. There seems to be some discontent now after the first 4 weeks. There seems to be some sort of animosity between Brady and Romo, and it's really not good for the team morale, and it's something that has to be corrected moving forward. We have our first divisional matchup in Week 6 against the Buffalo Bills, and as you can see, the entire division is struggling. Nobody's really doing that well, so even though we're 0-4 so far on the season, we're not out of it yet. And this game against the Bills is going to be a big game to help us get back into the division race.
Today's matchup is one of the best passing offenses in the NFL. The Bills are top 10 in pass yards.
Prior to the Week 6 matchup against the Buffalo Bills, Tom Brady came in and he had a meeting. He hosted a meeting with not only the quarterbacks, but the wide receivers, the offensive line, and the running backs as well. The entire offense, including the backups, everybody was brought in. And he let them know just how important division games are for the Patriots as an organization. Him being a Patriots quarterback for so many years, he knew the importance of how big the games are, how important they were for the whole scope of the season, for the team's morale and everything else. And he brought everyone into the team meeting, and from what the players were saying after the meeting, it wasn't pretty. He let them know, but he let them know extremely bluntly the importance of division games. And one of the biggest things that came from the meeting was that Tom Brady told the team, you don't want to lose to division opponents because we don't lose to division opponents. In the last 10, 15 years, the Patriots have dominated against division opponents. Even when they haven't won the division, they've dominated within the division. And that's something that really struck home with the team, and they seemed to come out on the field with a little more fire. The defense was even fired up. Even though they weren't in the meeting, it bled over throughout the locker room, and the entire team wanted to beat the Bills regardless of the situation. Regardless of being winless so far on the season, they wanted this win more than any so far in the year. The defense came in and gave the offense a very short field, forcing 3 fumbles and intercepting the ball 3 times, which led to the huge 48-20 victory against the Bills. Coming off of the huge division win against the Bills, the Patriots brought in the Dallas Cowboys, who are coming into the game 5-1 in Week 7. And even though the Patriots only had 1 win on the season, we still welcome them in as if it was a Super Bowl game and it's a must-win, which is really how we go into every game. But this one seemed to be extremely important to us as well because of the victory last week and because the morale was so high, and we wanted to just keep winning and keep pushing and keep going forward and take the division from the Jets.
Today we've got a team that's been great at defending the pass. The Patriots are top 10 at defending the pass, and they'll be going up against the Cowboys.
Despite Romo coming into this game after having such a great game against the Bills and only having one incompletion, he comes into this game and goes right back to his old ways, making poor decisions, throwing to people who aren't open, throwing to people who are double covered, and the defense's inability to stop the run really hurt the team. Ezekiel Elliott came in and pretty much just established himself right off the bat and set the tone for the game early. And the disagreements between Tony Romo and Tom Brady never fully went away, even though he had such a great game last week. The game this week where he threw 4 interceptions and no touchdowns, throwing for less than 50% completions, is not going to help that relationship between those two. The Cowboys clearly prepared better for this game than the Patriots offense did. Their defense was all over the Patriots no matter what we tried to do, whether it was running the ball or passing the ball or even trick plays, trying to run screens. Nothing seemed to be working. With the inability to get the offense going, the Patriots fall to the Cowboys 6-24, falling to 1-5 on the season. Before we get into the Week 8 matchup against the New York Jets, we have a decision to make. Back in the offseason, we made the decision to rebuild our stadium. So now we have to decide which stadium we want to go with. And the stadium that we decided on is the Deluxe Traditional Stadium. It's still open top. We're still going to get the weather in New England. We did have the option to build a dome, but it's something that the fans are used to and actually enjoy, is being out there regardless of the weather, supporting their team.
We're all set to bring you a terrific contest here as these two divisional rivals renew acquaintances for the first time this season.
Coming into this game against the Jets, this is a huge game for us. We play the Jets now, and then the Jets are on a bye week and play us another time. So it's, for us, we play the Jets, the Chiefs, and then the Jets again. If we can beat them both times, and shortly thereafter we play the Dolphins in a couple weeks, almost back-to-back as well. So winning all those games against the division is going to be huge, and we're going to also need the Bills to continue to lose, the Dolphins to continue to lose, and the Jets to start losing to other people as well. So we came into this game knowing that it was very important for us to win. And as it usually is against the Jets, this was a hard-fought game on both sides. Both teams were battling it out, trying to get the win. The Jets want to continue to increase their record so far on the year, while once again we want to beat them this time as well as in their next game against us in 2 weeks. We want to beat them then as well to shorten the lead that they have in the AFC East. But once again, when Tony Romo comes in and throws for less than 200 yards and more interceptions than touchdowns, it's not something that we're going to easily be able to accomplish, is taking the division back from the Jets. And the Jets hold on to win this game 20-17 as we throw a Hail Mary last second and it gets intercepted short of the end zone. Following the loss to the Jets, reporters caught up to Julian Edelman in the locker room after the game, and he had this to say about the performance.
I mean, it's tough. You put a lot of time and effort in to put yourself in this situation. You got to tip your hat to them. We didn't play our best football, but they made more plays than us when they had to. So that's why they won.
I think you guys, you felt like you got tight. I mean, you were so close so many times. You kept coming and coming.
Yeah, we thought we were going to tie it. We practiced that situation a lot, and we just weren't able to execute it on that play. I tell you now, we do have a mentally tough team to stay in the game mentally all the way down to the end, and it just sucks when you don't play your best game against a really good team, really good defense. You can't expect to win.
So as you can see, the locker room morale for the whole team, including the wide receivers, is really down. A lot of the players are feeling like they're not being put in the best position to win, and when they are put in the best position to win, somebody's making critical errors that they shouldn't be making. It's causing them to lose, and it's really just, it's adversely affecting the team and bringing them down. Immediately following the loss to the Jets, Hedrick brought in Turner Tennant, the rookie quarterback that was drafted in the 3rd round, brought him up from the practice squad and put in extra work with him throughout the week. And many on the team believe that there's a changing of the guard coming soon at the quarterback position, so that's something that we're going to look forward to in the future and see how that plays out.
Today's matchup features two teams looking for a win. It's the Chiefs coming in at 2-5. going up against the Patriots, who come in at 1-6.
With what appears to be a change at quarterback gearing up to take place in the near future, Tom Brady made sure he sat down with Tony Romo one-on-one and let him know that you have to make changes, you have to do better, or you're going to lose your starting job. It's something that Tom Brady himself did not face as a player ever in his career. The only time Brady ever missed a game was when he was injured, but he knows about it. He's seen other players lose their positions on other positions on the team, and he knows how detrimental that is to the player. So he made sure he sat down with Tony Romo one-on-one and let him know how severe the situation is. And it's not something that Romo is not used to. Romo went through that with Dak Prescott while he was in Dallas, so it's not something that he's never experienced before. But Brady just wanted to make sure he had the reassurance of his QB coach so that it didn't adversely affect him. And it did appear to have somewhat of a beneficial effect on Romo. Romo came in and made much smarter decisions. He only threw one interception this game. He made shorter passes and smarter decisions and didn't throw into double or triple coverage. He made the better decisions than he'd been making all season. And that's really all Tom Brady wanted him to do. Just secure your job for this week. Worry about next week. And it appeared to have worked. The coach never came in after the game and said, Tony Romo, you're out. He didn't come in and say, you should be worried or anything like that. He came in, said, good job, and they moved on. So it seemed to have helped, and Romo ended up leading the team down, scoring a touchdown in the final seconds, and converting a 2-point conversion. So for now, his job is safe in New England. For our Week 10 game, we headed down to MetLife Stadium to take on the New York Jets, who were fresh off of a bye week following their 3-point victory against us in Week 8. We ended up losing the game 16-27, and Romo threw 3 more interceptions. Immediately following the game, Romo was told, and the media was told, that the quarterback going into the Week 11 matchup against the Miami Dolphins would be rookie quarterback Turner Tennant. Romo's been benched for now, but more on that is going to come in episode number 13. That's going to wrap up episode number 12, guys. Thanks for coming and joining. Make sure you guys check out the newest MBL live game, which just came out tonight, which is the Minnesota Vikings against the Detroit Lions in a divisional matchup. And as always, make sure you guys hit up the comment section with any suggestions or anything like that you have for the series, and make sure you subscribe to MBL Network if you haven't already.